A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I want A+, English, because it's so much fun. English education for you and everyone, so come along. Learn some grammar, learn a phrase, learn something new every day. Learn the A+ way. Hey, it's time to start the show. Are you ready? Good, 'cause here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I want A+ English.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Laura, Tiffany's best friend.
Yay, I miss you.
Same here.
All right, so today we're looking at, governments around the world and how they are trying to save the indigenous cultures.
Oh, finally. I think that's great news.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally. I agree with that.
Yeah, so
Support it.
I want to ask you, what do you know about indigenous cultures in Taiwan?
Okay, well, I know for sure that the native cultures in Taiwan are really old and they are famous for making beautiful art and crafts like weaving and pottery. And I had to sort of Google this because I wasn't really sure the exact number, but Taiwan actually has 16 indigenous tribes, and each with their own unique language, culture, and traditions.
Wow, I did not know we had that many tribes here in Taiwan, actually. But I do, and I want to learn more about them. So, shall we look at our article then?
Sure.
Governments around the world are working to save indigenous cultures. Warm-up question. What do you know about indigenous cultures in Taiwan?
Indigenous people around the world are trying to bring back their traditional cultures. They want to learn their traditional languages and practice their arts. Most important of all, they want to pass on their cultural knowledge to future generations. This is called cultural revitalization.
All right, so let's take a look at our article for today. It says, indigenous people around the world are trying to bring back their traditional cultures. They want to learn their traditional languages and practice their arts. Okay, cool. So let's first take a look at the word indigenous because we will keep mentioning it throughout the article. And it just means that people who originally lived at that specific land or that place. Sometimes you might hear the word Aboriginal too. So like if you've watched Pocahontas, she's actually a part of the indigenous people in the United States.
And we also have Aboriginals in Australia, which is where I grew up from. Yeah, so indigenous, I know that's a little bit difficult, so I'm going to say the Chinese definition for that, 当地的本土的, and it's an adjective here. And like what Tiffany said, yeah, we could use the word Aboriginal too. So I think indigenous people from all around the world are really talented and have made a name for themselves. For example, some of them are amazing musicians and dancers. Don't forget, we have Ame here in Taiwan.
Ooh, she's the queen.
Right, and they have even created their own unique styles of music and dance. And we also have great athletes who compete at the highest levels in sports like running, archery, and surfing, and have even won medals in international competitions.
Wow, they're so talented. Okay, let's take a look at the article. It says, most important of all, they want to pass on their cultural knowledge to future generations. Okay, so I know we kind of asked this in the beginning, but do you know a lot about the Taiwanese culture? Because I think this is kind of what they want to keep in Taiwan, right?
I know that food plays a big role in Taiwan. We all love to eat. There's so many delicious dishes like beef noodle soup, dumplings, and bubble tea. I think in Taiwan, we also have festivals, right? Like the Lantern Festival, the Dragon Boat Festival, and people come together to celebrate and have fun. And I think another important part of Taiwanese culture is the respect for elders and family values. So yeah, I think there's so much about Taiwanese culture, and I'm always learning new things about it.
I agree. So for example, the indigenous tribes, they kind of want to bring back or kind of show people their cultures again. And this is actually in the article. It says this is called cultural revitalization. Okay, it's a hard word. Revitalization. Okay, revitalize means to make something come back to life again.
Yeah, okay, revitalization. That's a difficult word. 复兴 is the Chinese definition for it, and that's a noun. Well, that's the first part of our article. Let's take a break.
However, in the past, some governments made laws that hurt indigenous cultures. In Australia, for example, the government took many indigenous children from their families. This happened between 1905 and 1967. The children then lived in institutions or with non-indigenous families. This caused a lot of pain. It also made it difficult for indigenous people to continue their cultural traditions.
All right, welcome back. Let's continue reading the article. It says, however, in the past, some governments made laws that hurt indigenous cultures. Right, that's right, because, a long time ago, when there's a really hard word that I want to teach, it's called colonization. A lot of, these richer countries, they go to new places, like when people discovered America, they go to these new places and they try to colonize, there. So they make the people there kind of listen to their laws and follow their things and follow whatever they want them to do. But of course, it's so different from the original indigenous people's cultures. So, I always think of the movie Pocahontas.
Yeah,
it's actually a really good example.
That's actually in my mind as well. And I think that happens everywhere in the world.
Yeah, unfortunately it does. We could take a look at an example. In the article, it says, in Australia, for example, the government took many indigenous children from their families. This happened between 1905 and 1967. So your home country. Yeah, so for example, in Australia, they did this too. What they did was they actually, separated people from their families. So imagine, like you having to be torn away from your mom and dad. That's really, really sad.
I know. And I can also think of another example. I think in Canada, the government made a law called the Indian Act in 1876, which forced indigenous people to give up their traditional ways of life and live on reservations.
Oh, no. I think the U.S. did something similar, too. Like, they pushed the indigenous people out of their homes and they made them, move to other places.
So
yeah, a lot of these countries are really mean to some indigenous tribes. Let's continue reading. It says, the children then lived in institutions or with non-indigenous families. Okay.
Oh.
That's really sad.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
I know. Okay. Institution. That's a difficult word. Again, I'm going to provide the Chinese definition so you guys won't be confused out there. Institution 就是机构的意思, and it's a noun.
Yeah, so they were forced to live with people that's not a part of their family, like complete strangers. So as you can imagine, the article says this caused a lot of pain. Of course, all the parents, they can't see their kids again. And the same with kids, they can't see their parents. It's really painful and hurtful to tear families apart.
Yeah, I read about that. Many children were taken away from their parents and were not allowed to speak their native language or practice their cultural traditions. It was a sad and difficult time in Australian history, and it's important that we remember and learn from it so that it doesn't happen again in the future.
I agree. Lastly, in the article, it says it also made it difficult for indigenous people to continue their cultural traditions. That's right. I think when you're torn away and you can't speak the language, you tend to forget how to speak it, you forget to do certain things. So it's not the best
that's
thing.
pretty sad because I think it became difficult for them to teach their cultural practices and beliefs to their children and grandchildren because of this. Very sad. Okay, right now, guess what? It's my solo teaching. 好的，今天我们学到很多知识，有没有？诶，刚好呢，今天我们的 word power 就是知识这个字，还记得它怎么说吗？就是 knowledge， 它是一个名词哦。那我这里要造一个句子，你们会知道它怎么用，像是 knowledge is power。So, if you want to be powerful, just Google everything. Do you like my example sentence, Tiffany? 知识就是力量，所以如果你想要变强大，你只需要 Google 所有事情，不要一直问人，可以自己估，好不好？我们来看一下单字例句。Hero has lots of knowledge about art history. He can tell you about any famous artist. Hero, OK, 这应该是个日本人吧？他通晓艺术史，他能够告诉你关于任何知名艺术家的事。再来，我们刚刚有看到 government 这个名词，就是政府。我们来看一下它要怎么用呢？在一个句子当中 ，The country's government voted to change some of the laws. 这个国家的政府为部分法律的改革进行投票。再来，还有 cause 这个动词哦，它就是导致。我来想一个比较可爱的例句好了。The magician caused the kids to be very surprised when he pulled a bunny out of his hat. 哇，魔术师让孩子们非常惊讶，因为他从帽子里变出了一只兔子。OK， 看一下单字例句要怎么用 cause. The car's wheel fell off. And caused the car to hit a tree. 好像蛮危险的，很可怕耶。这辆车的轮子脱落，导致车子撞上了树。那刚刚我们有提到 pain， 这是一个名词哦，表示痛苦。如果我要说这件事情或某个东西或是我的手很痛，我们要用它的形容词就是 painful， 后面接 ful 的字尾。我们来看一下单字例句要怎么用 pain。The death of her pet left Lucy in great pain. Oh, I can relate. 宠物的死亡让 Lucy 悲痛万分。那刚刚呢，其实我们还学到了蛮多的一些片语哦，都非常实用，像是 most important of all 这个片语就是最重要的是什么什么。像是我突然想到这个 superheroes 好了，我来造这个句子。When it comes to being a superhero, most important of all is having a cool outfit and a catchy catchphrase. 大家有没有觉得提到 superheroes 超级英雄，最重要就是要有一套怎么样很酷炫的 outfit， 那种就是装备啊，像是什么披风啊，很炫，或是 Iron Man 的那个 suit 啊，还有一个让大家觉得朗朗上口的一个口号，好像是 Spider-Man， 你们猜一下他的那个口号是什么？是不是中文只知道中文，能力越大责任越大？它的英文就是 With great power comes great responsibility. OK， 我们再造一个例句好了，就是 You can have all the fancy gadgets in the world, but most important of all is having a good Wi-Fi connection. 真的，你买了最新的手机或是很厉害的平板，结果后来发现那个 Wi-Fi connection 很烂的话，就很糟糕，所以这是很重要、最重要的。再来，我们在课文有看到很多表达否定的，就是英文的字首。那我们现在要来学一下，还有哪些英文字首有否定的意思？我们应该知道 un, unhappy, unkind， 这个是一个否定。还有什么non-stop， 不停的怎么样怎么样。还有 dis, disagree， 有没有？我不认同，或者是impossible， 也就是 possible 的相反，不可能。我刚刚突然想到，我想要讲不敢相信，它就是 unbelievable， 不敢相信。好啦，硬要讲这个因为我非常喜欢许光汉那部电影。好啦，这里呢就是今天 Laura 的 solo teaching， 接下来我们来听一下 review time 要教什么。
Review time.
Hello, it's our review time. Okay, today we're going to change it up a bit and I want to test your spelling because we have a lot of great words to learn here. And they're really hard words.
Really bad.
Really?
I'm only good at guessing.
Woohoo!
Guess the word.
Well, let's see. How do you spell the word? I'll give you an easy one first. Pain. Pain.
Okay, P-A-I-N.
Very good. Like, ouch. That gives me a lot of pain.
Pain in the neck.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to give you a difficult one. Knowledge. Knowledge.
That's a tricky one. Knowledge. The K is silent.
Yeah.
K-N-O-W-L-E. Okay, I know my spelling.
Ledge.
D-G-E. There's a D.
Very good. Okay, next word. Cause.
Oh, this is an easy one.
Like cause and effect. Cause.
C-A-U-S-E.
That's right. And we're going to finish it off with the slightly difficult word. Government. Government. I'm giving you guys a clue.
G-O-V-E-R-N-M-E-N-T. You guys, did you forget the N there?
Yeah, that's a tricky word. Government. Very good. I hope you guys got all the spelling correct. But unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for today. We do have more to talk about in day 2. So don't forget to stick around to learn more.
Bye.
Magic Box
哎呦，花猫哦，是不是年纪大了？哎呀，最近背这个英文单词不飒飒哦，有够难记的啦。幸好哈，我学会了英文字首这一招啦。嘿，你知道英文单字光看字首哦，就可以看出一些端倪吗？今天呢，就要来跟你分享一下了，表达否定字的单字字首。哎，这个秘籍哦，学会马上呢就可以多背几个单字啦。首先嘞，马上呢，我们可以先看一下字首是 in 的 ，OK，in in 这个字首呢，要表达否定的时候，通常呢是放在名词或者是形容词的前面，它就是表示不怎么样的。比方说呢 expensive 这个形容词呢是形容昂贵的，但是呢，如果我们在字头加上 in， 它就变成了 inexpensive， 就表示呢不贵的。其他呢还有像是这个 incorrect 不正确的、错误的，或者是呢像有一些超级英雄的能力 invisible 不可视的、看不到的，也就是呢隐形的。in 呢就是我们的第一种用法咯。那第二种用法呢是 none non 这个字首呢，一样常用在名词或是形容词前面呢，一样是表示否定呢，但是它很常表示的是无 ，OK， 没有这个东西，不含什么东西。比方说呢 sense 这个单词呢，就是理智的意思哦，所以呢，如果我们说 nonsense， 就是讲这件事情是无理的，或者是呢，像你有看到这个标示，它可能会写 non-alcoholic 无酒精的 ，OK， 都是属于这一类的用法咯。再来嘞，我们要看到的是 dis 这个字首哦，它很常呢会看到是出现在名词、动词、形容词前面都有可能咯。很常见的字啊，像是这个 disagree，OK， 不同意。或者是呢，像是 appear 这个动词 ，appear 就是出现了。那如果我们把 dis 加在字首 ，disappear 就是不见了、消失了。还有呢 ，cover 这个字就是把什么东西给盖起来了。那如果 discover 呢，就是呢把这个盖子哦，把这个东西给掀开了，所以呢也就引申为发现的意思咯。再来呢，还有什么字首呢 ？un 也是呢这个否定的字首了。un 呢表示否定呢，它常放在这个动词、副词或者是形容词前面都可以。很多呢像是这个 untrue，OK， 不真实的。uncomfortable 不安的、不自在的、不舒服的哦。因为呢 comfortable 这个形容词哦，就是形容舒适的，所以 uncomfortable 把前面呢加上 un 就是否定、不舒服的，够简单了吧？最后呢，我们再来补充一个哦，都是否定，但是意思不一样，那就是呢 unlike 跟 dislike。dislike 呢，意思是不喜欢哦，我不喜欢这个东西 dislike。但是呢 unlike 则是呢不像 ，OK， 跟这个东西不一样，两个东西不像 ，OK， 都是呢接在 like 前面，但是因为它们词性不同，意思也就不同，所以呀，只学句首哦，这个字首呢是不够，还是呢要认真的背单字啦。